Alright, we're going to try something a little different here. I'm actually trying to record. So what we got going on here is we're putting down some glue to be able to cut away all these zip ties. And I'm just using here, this is some thickened epoxy, and all I did was make it up with some capsule and put it in the Ziploc bag so that I could spread it out easier and faster. And you know, I'm not saying it's the best way to do it, but it seems like it's the best thing for me. Not that I've ever done this before to have a lot of experience on what's best, but I just take the bag and I spread it out in all the little joints and stuff, and then as you'll see, I'll come back whenever I get done with that, and I just take like a 1-inch tongue depressor and try and spread it out in the spaces. Try and slow it down here so you kind of get an idea of what's happening, and then, you know, like everything else, I try and show the whole process and see that it's, you know, not always easy and quick. Yeah, right here you can see I just got that tongue depressor and I just put it in there. It's got like about a 1-inch radius on the end of it. It works pretty good, and then I just move the excess that it picks up. I move it around wherever I need it, and then you can, sometimes you'll see how I lay it on its side, you know, where it will keep that side clean. Like if a bunch pushes out on the top or the bottom, then you just put the tongue depressor on that side, and then it spreads it and kind of cleans it all up at once. You know, one thing that I did notice that, you know, after dealing with a bunch of this stuff and sanding all this, is that it's very, very important to come back and clean off those edges where it squirts out the sides. You got to come back and clean that up, because it is, just take a you know, plastic paint scraper or something like that. It is a bear to try and come back and smooth that out, so that it'll be easier when the fiberglass goes down and everything else. So that would be one tip would be that I learned, is it's very important to do that. Now, once again, if you hadn't seen any of my stuff here, I'm building this boat in the backyard, and I just got this tent that we set up. Luckily I have a little pad here off the back, and just have this tent set up, and it kind of keeps things dry. But it's in Louisiana right now, it's been raining almost every day, if not every day, and it's terrible. The ground here is still wet, but you know, I'm able to stand on the concrete and not in the mud, so it's easier. Can't be raining now because I have those are actually the sides of the boat sitting out there in the yard, just because the only place I can store them, as you'll see later, is I have to put them up on top of the boat at night or whenever I'm not working. You can just see I'm spreading the glue in between the zip ties, and then once that glue kicks off, that's just, you know, epoxy, 2-to-1 epoxy, same epoxy I'll use, you know, building the whole boat. And I'm just putting it in all these little compartments and all these spaces, so that as soon as it cures and I get it in the joints and all, I can just come back and cut away the zip ties, and then I'll be able to come in. The boat plans that we're using here calls for 2-inch fillets in all these joints, and then fiberglass, and a different fiberglass plan, different. I think most of this in the bottom of the boat, bottom of the hull, is 1808 biaxial. So that's coming down the road before too awful long. As soon as we can get this little glue pieces here, and then cut those zip ties, and then we'll be off and running. Yeah, you'll see a lot more just this gluing and spreading, and then here, this is where I take the little paint scraper. Like I said, this is a little plastic paint scraper. It's real cheap, just to clean up all those little pieces that squirt out, because when they turn hard, I mean, it's like little, I I don't know, it makes it, you know, obviously that epoxy turns hard and it gives you ridges in there, so it's not going to allow the fiberglass to lay flat. And you know, to me it's a place for some air pockets or whatever else. It's just easier to get all that. You know, here it is. This is just another little bag of thickened epoxy, and you know, I'm using little quart Ziploc freezer bags. I'm making about, I think it's about 12 ounces of epoxy per batch that I'm doing right now, just trying to keep it small. And I'm using 2-to-1 Capasil to epoxy. Seems to be pretty thick, seems to be working out pretty good. And then I'm just spreading it around. But you know, like most people, I'm doing all this because other guys who built boats, they took the time to share all their stuff, and it helped me to know what to do, and also inspired me to take on a project like this. So I've got the means, and I enjoy doing it. So I'm gonna try and document this whole process. And you know, it is very important that, you know, to me, if you got a question or whatever, if you see me screwing up, for sure, you know, reach out, you know, comment below or whatever. But you know, feel free to interact. You know, that's one of the reasons I'm trying to use this medium. I don't know what I'm doing. I got an idea of what I'm supposed to be doing, but you know, I'm just gleaning the best information that I can and trying to apply it. You know, I've got some building skills, but I never built a boat before. So this one and one more will be 2. I doubt that I'll ever get to that second one, but we'll see. You know, but we're trying. So you know, subscribe, that helps me. You know, I'd love to grow this, and you know, everybody would like to find a way to help pay for this doggone thing. So alright, well, first thing off, got everything glued in. Do a little walkthrough. Gonna be cutting all the ties today. You can see the weather, typical for Louisiana. It's soaking wet. It's been raining all day. Wasn't supposed to. This is kind of my only area. Big concern is right in here. So I got that as an issue, and then this transverse here isn't seated all the way down. So I'm gonna have to figure out either to level across the top of the stringers, or to bring all the floor supports up to make it all flush and level. Either way, something I'm gonna have to deal with. Still going to the back, everything there. So like I said, we're gonna be cutting, and because it's so wet, you see the sides up on top of the boat. That's because it's so wet. It's the only place I can keep them dry till I put them on. I don't have anything else. So as I move back here to the stern, like all of this stuff here, I'm trying a little while to come in and clean up all that. Those little hangers. And then this will be the transom. Be coming in, putting the gussets all the way in all here. So I'm about to cut all this stuff loose. It's kind of a walk through. It's a good look down through there. That's it. There's the old fan trying to dry the ground up. This is what it is. This water is kind of miserable. Also got down here, I had all my fur I'm gonna be using for my stock lumber. And trying with this rain, I just have to open the ends up just to get some air through here, but it's supposed to start raining a little while, so it's kind of how it is in this part of the country. Yeah, I'm a little worried. I got my little file saw, all this stuff here. Should have cleaned that up a lot better. But I'm gonna go ahead and tackle all that so I don't have to deal with it going forward. It's kind of all I can do in this weather. And that's it. Just a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And get these cameras kind of mounted up. Where I can go to using both hands and start cutting all these straps loose. Try and clean up some of this stuff. Thinking about going ahead and fitting these chines. Go ahead and fitting all these so I can glue those up. Get all that taken care of. And that's kind of what she looks like right now. Here's my little lights in my shop, my little shed here. Got those off of Amazon. It's got 6 little 4-foot lights, and it does really well in the dark. So that's it. About to go to work. Here we go. I'm getting back at it, and I'll start cutting these zip ties. So all the glue you saw me putting down, it's cured. This is the next day. I do, you know, just in case you're curious, you know, I do wash these clothes. My wife's very good. You know, I try and keep the same work clothes when I'm out here, but my wife does keep those clean, so don't worry about that part. But you know, here just you can see, you just cut them, pull them out. You know, make sure you don't have any epoxy on them or whatever, and generally they come out pretty easy. Now this little process here, this is, and you can see I was taking that little tongue depressor, and I'm starting off here in the transom where I, you know, had to learn a few things as I went, and I wasn't real clean with the glue. It's kind of all over the place, but because this epoxy and all is cured, you know, everything that I've read through the book and the Guggen Brothers builders thing, you know, anytime you have epoxy and you're going to put new epoxy on top of it and it's cured, you want to come back in and sand it. So this little file sander here it's been a dream saver in this deal. You can see it gets in these corners. The radius is just about perfect. So I'm able to get in there and sand, you know, at least sand all those. I'm not trying to make them smooth or uniform or anything like that. It's just to try and rough them up so that when I come back and put the fillets and gussets and stuff, there's a bunch of gussets that go back here, as I just talked about. Man, this little thing helps a lot, and I just keep the shop vac right there, just kind of in the compartment. It keeps the dust way down. So there's a lot of this, but just in, you know, just in case, you know, there's some questions, or, you know, say you see me doing something wrong, feel free to speak up. You know, I love the comments. I try and pay attention, and I'm gonna try and respond to every one of them. So good, bad, or indifferent, you know, I'm a big fella. I can handle it. Let me know what you think. once again, all this area that I'm working in here is just, I'm just trying to rough up it, rough up that epoxy, the surface of it, so that when I come back and put in the 2-inch fillets, that it all bonds real nice and well. My goal is to, when I come back and pull those fillets, those 2-inch fillets, to as soon as they kind of kick off, it's come right behind it and start fiberglass and all of this stuff, so that it's don't have to sand and all this in between. This was a lesson, so kind of learning as I go here. Well, that's about all the sanding. That's just that one side. We got all that done. And now you can see here, just clean it up. Go to bed for the night. Just like that. Just sit there and look at it for a while. Please subscribe down below, like, whatever, comment. We'd appreciate it. And we're going to try and keep going.